One of the biggest critics of the plans to build a mosque near Ground Zero is New York's Congressman Peter King, wasting no time blasting President Obama for saying he supports the right to build the center at that location. King's calling the mosque insensitive and offensive, a stinging insult to the families who were killed on 9/11. The ranking Republican of the House Homeland Security Committee, the congressman's joining us now. Congressman King, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you very much.
And it was important to have you here because you came out almost immediately, and I know you have many of these families of victims of 9/11 live in your district, and you are a ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee. There are security concerns about having this cultural center at that location, I'm sure, as well as whether or not it's politically correct to say it's insensitive. Is that true?
Yes, Jamie, it is. And, you mentioned the families. I mean, just this morning I've spoken to Ernie Strada, Jimmy Boyle, Rosemary Kane, Frank Haskell, all of whom lost close family members on September 11th. So there really is this gaping wound which is being just torn open again by the Muslim leadership who wants to construct this mosque there. And you mentioned security concerns. Yes, there are security concerns. There is a reality that many mosques in the New York area have not cooperated with law enforcement, for instance, and there's a real concern about what goes on in these mosques. Having said that, my main objection to this mosque in particular is not that they don't have the right. The president is absolutely correct. The Muslim community has the right to construct the mosque, but with rights go responsibilities. And the responsibility here was to meet with the community, meet with the 9/11 families, and realize the sensitivity involved and move the mosque to another location similar to what the Carmelite nuns did at Auschwitz when the Pope intervened and didn't question the right to have the convent there, but said it was very, very insensitive to the Jews who lost so many millions of people in the Holocaust.
Let's listen to what the president had to say.
This is America, and our commitment to religious freedom must be unshakable. The principle that people of all faiths are welcome in this country and that they will not be treated differently by their government is essential to who we are.
Congressman, what authority does the president have to say or do anything in regard to whether or not this mosque is built at that location? Because, let's face it, it's a religious organization that will take advantage of a number of things like tax benefits, etc.
Jamie, all I believe the president has is moral authority. And once he spoke out on this issue, I believe he had the moral obligation to speak to the Muslim community and tell them that they should move the mosque, that they should take into account the sensitivity of feelings. And this isn't just worrying about people's hurt feelings. I'm talking about the most deep feelings, feelings of loss, feelings of rage, feelings of sorrow that are there. And that's what they should take into account rather than trying to prove a point by having a 13-story, $100 million edifice literally in the shadows of Ground Zero.
Well, they would argue it's not an edifice. They would argue that it's a multicultural center. It will raise awareness. It will explain what Muslim thoughts and beliefs are, and that it's important, even more important, to have it at that location. Do you feel? What was your reaction initially when you heard what the president said? What did you take issue with?
I was very disappointed. The fact that he just emphasized the fact that there's a right. Nobody's questioning the right to have the mosque. It's what is the responsibility. And to me, it was his failure to address the whole issue of the Muslim community's responsibility to realize what this is going to do to the psyche of so many good New Yorkers and so many good Americans. It's wrong to say that people opposed to it are somehow bigoted. These are the most decent people I've ever met. And that's where the president missed it here. To me, he was almost setting, in law school they told us, a straw man argument. And no one's saying that they don't have the right to do it. The fact is, to me, it's irresponsible to put it there.
But do you
with
know,
rights come responsibilities.
And they're telling me I'm up against a time element here. Do you know maybe the president has had meetings with those involved or some of his staffers to ask them to reconsider? Do we know whether he has, or do we have a belief that he is enabling it by coming out in support?
Jamie, if he had met with them, he had the obligation to say that last night, to put it all on the table. Once he brought this issue to a presidential level, then he had the obligation to let the American people know all that's gone on here and not just give one side of the conversation.
All right, and I wanted to ask you about that so that we get all sides of the conversation in. Congressman Peter King, thank you so much. Good to see you, sir.
Jamie, thank you, as always. Thank you.